She said it over coffee, as casually as someone commenting on the weather. "I'm in love with someone else," she confessed, her gaze unflinching, like she was announcing a change in hobbies rather than shattering a marriage. "I'm moving in with him. With his parents." I stirred my coffee in silence. Once, twice, a third time. Then I raised my eyes to hers and replied, steady and clear, "Then all of you should leave." Her mother blinked, confused. "What?" The three of them sat across from me, my wife, her mother, and her sister, because apparently this betrayal was a group effort, a full-fledged family relocation. I looked at each of them in turn. Their expressions varied, each one carrying its own flavor of disbelief and guilt. They hadn't anticipated this reaction. But that's the thing about betrayal. You never see it coming unless you're the one doing the betraying. It hadn't always been like this. I married Rachel because she felt like peace after chaos. She was intelligent, kind, supportive, the sort of person who made you believe the world might actually be just. So when her mother found herself drowning in debt, over $150,000 from reckless gambling and shady loans, I didn't hesitate. I liquidated investments, cashed in stock options, and paid it off quietly. Because family matters, right? Her appreciation lasted all of 3 weeks. After that came the silence, the emotional distance, the endless showers, soft smiles at messages that clearly weren't from me. The sudden appearance of perfume I'd never smelled on her before. Of course I noticed. I wasn't oblivious. I was patient, observant, not because I was in denial, but because I was planning. The first real crack showed on a Wednesday. She left her phone on the table, screen facing up. A message lit up. "Can't wait to wake up beside you again. Love you." I didn't react outwardly. I memorized the number instead. He was Kevin, mid-30s, living with his parents a couple towns away. No job, from what I could gather. But he had dreams, lofty ones. To her, he represented escape. To me, I was the foundation she was using to climb into that fantasy. I didn't confront her. I investigated. Over the next few weeks, I built a case like I was preparing for trial. Emails, screenshots, location data. I even followed her once, watched her walk into his parents' house with a tote bag and that fake laugh she used when she wanted something. This wasn't just infidelity. This was premeditated reinvention. And I was the sponsor. So I got busy. The first move, I transferred all the money from our shared accounts into a new one under my name. Completely legal. Neat and tidy. Next, I halted every automatic payment tied to her name. Cut the financial cord clean. I canceled the lease on her car. It was under my name anyway. She didn't even notice. She never paid attention to the bills. Next, I contacted the debt collectors I had dealt with before, the ones who had hounded her mother until I wiped the slate clean. I requested a payoff statement. Turns out, a few overlooked clauses and her mother's name still tied to certain agreements gave me an opening. I reinstated the debts. Not out of spite, but out of fairness. She owed me. And if they all wanted a clean break, they'd have to make things right. Then I got in touch with a lawyer. I had her signature on a prenuptial agreement, signed back when we were still newlyweds, and she was swept up in love and optimism. She'd forgotten all about it. I filed for divorce quietly, behind the scenes. No warning. No drama. I waited until every asset was secure, until the transfer of her mother's debt was finalized under my name, until the house, the vehicles, the accounts were all legally locked down. Then I staged the moment. I invited them to brunch, told them I had something to celebrate. Rachel walked in with that checked-out smile, already halfway into her new life. Her mother had a look of smug satisfaction. Her sister, disengaged, flicking through her phone screen like this was beneath her. Then Rachel spoke first. "I wanted to tell you in person," she said, as if she were doing me a kindness. I've met someone. We're going to be together. I nodded, keeping my expression unreadable. Her mother chimed in, tone rehearsed. It's for the best. You'll find someone more compatible. And then Rachel dropped the final piece. We'll be moving out by next week, she said. But Kevin and his family will be staying here, for now. They're in a transition phase. That was where I cut in. No, I said calmly. You're all leaving today. Her mother blinked in shock. What are you talking about? I reached into my bag and placed a folder on the table. Everything, this house, the mortgage, the deed, it's all under my name. You're not listed on any lease. And you, I turned to her mother, have 30 days to repay the debt that now legally belongs to me. Rachel's voice rose, sharp. You're joking. I'm not. As of this morning, the utilities are shut off in your name. The locks will be changed within 2 hours. Kevin's name isn't on the lease. Neither is yours. Her sister muttered, You can't do this. I already did, I replied without flinching. Rachel looked at me as if I'd struck her. Her expression was pure disbelief. Is this revenge? She asked. No, I answered. This is balance. She stormed out, yanking her phone from her purse and dialing Kevin. I watched through the window as she paced back and forth on the lawn, shouting into the receiver. Her mother remained seated, frozen, the color drained from her face. I headed upstairs, grabbed a small box I'd prepared earlier, and brought it down. These are the essentials, I said, placing it in front of Rachel. I figured you'd try to take more than what belongs to you. Inside the box were her passport, a few sentimental trinkets, and her grandmother's ring. Nothing else. The rest stays put until the court makes a decision, I told her. She didn't cry, she never did. But I saw her hands tremble as she picked up the box. They left quietly that afternoon. Kevin never showed up. 2 weeks later, I heard she tried to move in with him anyway. His parents turned her away. Apparently, they weren't thrilled their unemployed son was dating a married woman whose husband had just stripped her of every financial safety net. I watched from afar as she scrambled to recover, to find footing that no longer existed. But I wasn't bitter. People say revenge is toxic, that it's like swallowing poison and hoping the other person suffers. They're wrong. Revenge, when calculated and cold, isn't poison. It's precision. It's the setting of scales that had been uneven for too long. She wagered everything on deception. I kept my bets on patience and silence, and in the end, it paid off. She used to say I was too quiet, too composed, that I lacked passion. She was right. And that's exactly why I came out ahead.